Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Revival League Upper Bracket Quarterfinals. My name is Retro, and I will be your caster for tonight. Tonight, we have a really exciting game going on between Eternity and Flying Fabians. Eternity had just barely scraped to the top four of the Champions League. They are fourth in the scoreboard. Flying Fabians, with a really impressive score of 10 wins and one overtime win, are first in the Premier League. We've got Oregon, Chalet, and Theme going on tonight. That is, if we reach Theme Park. I think this will be a very, very interesting game between these two teams. I think it's definitely one for the ages. And the bans have already begun here on Oregon. An early Ying ban from Flying Fabians. They do not want to deal with Ying, especially on that bottom floor in basement. It's already a really it's a pretty easy site to defend, but it's a lot harder to defend it if you've got to go up against the Ying. Flora's band coming out from Eternity, followed by Warden. Warden, of course, since they don't have the Ying, they probably want to maximize on other utility like flashbangs and smoke grenades, and floors, of course, to make sure that none of that utility can be destroyed, like deployable shields. And I was gonna say like Azami Kiba barriers, but they banned out our Flying Fabians banned out the Azami, so that's not gonna be something to worry about. And I'm wondering if maybe the Azami ban was forced by Flying Fabians because of the Flores ban. Without the Flores, Azami becomes infinitely more stronger. So they probably want to make sure that that's not something that they have to worry about come attack. But for now, it's Flying Fabians on defense, and they are going basement first. Now, basement on Oregon is famously a very defender-sided site. I think across Siege, it is a very difficult site to attack. There's a lot of angles for you to cover. There's a lot of setup for you to achieve. And they destroyed very quickly a deployable shield on that blue door. I apologize for the stutter there. I only know that call out as Shiko, and I don't know that I want to use Pro League callouts here, just in case somebody's unfamiliar with them. So I needed a moment to remember what it's actually called. But they destroyed that deployable shield by vaulting over it, I think, which is really unlucky because they're going to be maybe needing that. They could have maybe relocated it if need be. So that's going to be a little bit harder to do now. But the attack is coming out from Eternity. It looks like it's going to be a crossover attack all the way from the north side, from a small tower, and a first kill already coming out from Flying Fabians onto Glorious. That's the Jackal gone off the board. It's going to make the roam clear that much harder to do, but I don't think that Eternity are going to be too worried about that for now, especially because it doesn't look like there's that much of a roaming presence coming out for Flying Fabians on this site. Now all of the defenders have rotated back to site, so at this time it's probably just going to waste a little bit more of Eternity's time to drone out everything and convince themselves that everybody did indeed rotate all the way down. They are going to be using the Thatcher EMPs to de-electrify the hatch and try to get it open. It looks like Chi-Chi might be trying to go for a Cade trick, but it's not going to work, unfortunately. I think the Cade bomb might have bugged out a little bit and wouldn't get picked up. So that hatch is open, 90 seconds left on the clock, and Eternity are starting to set themselves in place so that they could go for this execute. They're going to need that freezer control, but it doesn't look like they're going to be going for the freezer control. They're just going to be going for a that hatch blue and backstairs push. Which is definitely viable, especially when you have that hatch control. But there's still so much for them to do, and time is running out, so they're going to have to be quick about clearing out Josh and Harry Potter of these stairs. They are flashing him out, but they're not pushing him, which could be dangerous if they do not take care of this Jaeger. They are going to be droning him out with the Iana clone. But it's actually Joshi that pushes out and gets Emmy-Term. He's on a sliver of HP, but he did get that kill. And now in a 3v5, with 30 seconds left on the clock, they're going to have to go for this execute. Make that 2v5. They're still trying to clear out this pillar position, but they can't. That nade goes out. It doesn't get Josh. And that's Flying Fabians with another one. It's all up to Greasy and a 1v5 on the back stairs to try and achieve something. 15 seconds left on the clock. Diffuser is cold on the ground. Doesn't have much control, and it's through the hatch to get a flawless round for Flying Fabians. First round on the board for Flying Fabians. They win their first attack. They win their first defense and set themselves up for a good path. They are going to be going upstairs now. Now that they've won the bottom floor site. Quite a different lineup. Well, not quite. It's pretty similar, but they are bringing the Solus this time instead of the Alibi to clear out any of that drone utility. They brought the Mute as well for the same reason. Bringing the Cade with Poker. I don't know if they're going to be going for maybe a Cade trick potentially, or if they're just going to toss it up there and force Eternity to waste Thatcher utility. They're setting up for a pretty strong defense here. They're going to be holding inside of Attic. They're also going to be having a roam presence from Chi-Chi on that Solus down below. Immediately getting on cams, making sure to gather as much information as early as possible. And the attack seems to be coming mostly from Attic. So I think they're just going to try and go into Tall Tower, clear out the Mute of Joshi, who's inside of T2 right now, being supported by Chi-Chi as well. Scanning out these drones. They know about each other. I'm not sure who of the attack that is outside. Would be Wolf on the Iana. Forcing Chi-Chi to rotate around. Are they aware of Joshi inside a basement? I don't know. That E1D from the line does spot out Chi-Chi, who goes for a rotate again. And it looks like Joshi is as well rotated away. Still in basement, but no longer in a threatening position as that wall gets opened up from the side of Eternity. With only a minute gone, this is really, really good pacing from them to get as much done as possible in this early round. Now we're hitting that mid-round phase of droning out everything, clearing out utility, so using that Gauntlet 6 to clear utility, holding those flanks. That is a really, really great position for Gracie to be in, especially with those 2 frag grenades. He could be doing a lot of damage onto them from below. Another E1D goes out to hold them in position as they push. The E1D isn't always used to push people out of position. Sometimes it's used to hold them in the position that they're in, forcing them to stay put. Poker with a pre-ripped C4 to try and lob through this hole into Attic. That could be a very, very good kill here, or a very good C4 here. Could net them 1 or 2 kills if placed right. There goes Greasy, goes down to Joshi in kitchen. That's their flank watch gone, but they do still have air jabs on the Attic flank, so they don't have to worry about that. They swing that. It's a bit of a trade. Or two trades go out. Diffuser is cold on the ground. They got it back into hand, and they are planting inside of kids. This is going to be a job for Chi-Chi to try and spot them out, see where they are. That's exactly that, but they're not able to stop the plant.
Defenders have eyes on
it's all down to Glorious as Flying Fabians pick up 2 more clears. That they are going to go for that diffuser. And it's Joshi with a 3K in this round to pick up the last one and get another round on the board for Flying Fabians. So far, a great start from Flying Fabians. They won the 2 primary sites, exactly what they want. Now they have the choice of going either meeting or dining alongside with kitchen. They are going to be going for meeting. There's often a lot of debate about which site is better, which choice is better for between meeting kitchen or dining kitchen. Typically, dining kitchen is a lot more aggressive, where you have to be in their face as they're attacking, because they are going to be attacking from that small tower side. But if you're picking meeting, that allows you to be a lot more open. It allows you to be a lot more spread out. Of course, you have to hold that top floor control, but it allows you to be a lot more free on the map rather than just having to hold positions inside of kitchen and inside of CCTV and inside of bathroom. It allows you to be a lot more open. It is also a lot easier to retake should you lose that execute and they get the plan down. So they are going to go for the meeting kitchen site. Setting up upstairs, of course, bringing the Oryx, who's absolutely crucial on this site. Most of the setup is being done upstairs as well, with most of those reinforcements going on upstairs. So it's going to be a very much a vertical hold. That can counter both a vertical and a horizontal take from the attackers. And it looks like it's going to be a horizontal attack, at least for now, as they're making their way inside of garage and inside of main lobby. Clearing out these positions and clearing out this side of the map to try and maybe push into either of the sites, either meeting or kitchen. And I think that all of the attackers are inside of main lobby right now, clearing out that utility very quickly and making their way inside of split. That C4 goes out, down to Glorious. They do get the wall open. There goes the finisher onto a Glorious. The wall is open onto split, but they get another kill. 3v5 now with Diffuser cold on the ground for eternity. They are droning out, but is it going to be enough for them here? Flying Fabians have a lot of angles set up to counter this attack, and so far it looks to be working perfectly. They get a trade onto the smoke to maybe prevent the diffuser going down. The smoke's not going to be able to do that anymore, but there's still a lot of work for them to do. They do have a little bit of that top floor control, but it is immediately eliminated, and it's all down to Wolf getting spotted by the cams, trying to push inside the kitchen, but it's barricaded off. No diffuser in hand, full HP, limited information. Still has 2 grenades in pocket, could do something with those, but against 4 defenders this is going to be really difficult. Just sees pixels there of Chi-Chi the Malusi, but isn't able to capitalize of those pixels. Goes for a grenade, it's not going to catch anybody. He's currently being flanked through shower hole. Oh, he's not. That's Oryx sitting inside of CCTV. There's about 1 million angles for him to cover right now. Unfortunately, can't cover all of them. Gets the flick onto Poker. That's a really good kill. 30 seconds left on the clock. This is now a little bit more doable, but he's down for the count as Flying Fabians take round number 3. Winning round number 3 opens up the floor for them to go back downstairs. They won that pretty significantly. It was a 1v4, a 1v5 at the end between Reese, I believe, against everybody else. So if that goes as well for them as it did the first time, they could really be looking at a really good half here. It's already a pretty good half. They didn't lose a round. They're up 3-0. They've secured themselves at least an even half, which is at least what you want when you're defending Oregon, if not to take the lead for 4-2 or 5-1. So they are setting themselves up for success in their attacking half should they win this round as well. Pretty similar setup coming out from flying Fabians, except they foregone that Cade last time around. Didn't do them all too much service. They got the hatch open anyway, so they just decided, hey, maybe we don't need this. They're going to get the hatch open anyway, but it's not going to be able to do anything because they did it last time and they weren't able to do anything. So let's just bring the Mira, bring the Wumai, and just play this from a safe distance. And the attack is commencing so far. They brought that Amaru, I think, to clear out the big tower very quickly. There's definitely a strategic value to that. However, there's a very high risk involved with it. There goes a Glorious making his way inside of tower already, clearing out anybody that might have been there, which I don't think that there had been anyone. I think Joshua may have been down in T1. Rear stage trying to hold on to the push, but then heard the Amaru go in and just drop back down. A lot of droning coming out. And with 45 seconds gone, this is really good pacing from Eternity to clear out any of those potential roamers. They're confident now that they can go for the hatch, and that's exactly what they're going for. Drilling out more and more of these positions. They are gonna be flanked from those main stairs, so I hope that they have somebody watching those drones, and it's Joshi getting very aggressive on those stairs, takes out Greasy. That's 2 frag grenades gone out of their pocket as well. This is now looking a lot harder, but still not impossible. 4v5 is a pretty good position for Eternity to be in, considering how difficult this site is to attack anyway. But they still have that smoke to clear out elbow, and it looks like they are rotating around to elbow, but they have that smoke to clear out, and then they will also have the Mira to clear out in that same position. So this is pretty unattackable. They get a kill onto Joshi, so that's a 4v4. They equalize, but they get the trade immediately. Glorious trying to push the smoke out of position. They do get that. Or no, they don't. They get a kill onto the Alibi. 2v4, 45 seconds left on the clock. They could do this, except the fuser is cold on the ground inside of sight. So it's going to be a lot harder to achieve than it may seem. No Gonsiks available for Glorious to try and clear out that shield, and no utility left to clear it out either. In a 1v3 with 30 seconds left on the clock, it's all down to Glorious. Nose is getting flanked from barrels, does get 1. Still has 2 to clear out. One's inside a freezer, one's inside of the small closet. 2 angles to cover, and it's flying Fabians to win another round. Flying Fabians take the lead so far in this half. They're 4-0. They could be 6-0 by the end of this half, which is quite a terrifying thought for Eternity. They do not want to lose this map because it puts them on the back foot when they get the chalet. That they have to play every round like it's the last. They have to play the game like it's their last game. Of course, it isn't their last game, because even if they lose this, they still have the lower bracket to go into, which is the positive here, but it's still going to be a lot less desirable of a result, because then they have to, of course, they have to fight their way through the lower bracket. And should they lose the lower bracket game, well, then they're completely out, and that's not what they want. So back upstairs they go. Eternity did manage to get the plant down last time that they attacked this site. They just weren't able to keep a good cover over it. Hopefully this time they are able to keep that cover. And not lose the gunfights right as the diffuser does go down. And I think that the attack is coming from the other end of the map this time. Instead of going for attic, they are going for a small tower. they are going to have to be going up against that Goyo as well. They've got Goyo, they've got smoke to deal with, which is a lot of plant denial. It's also position denial and entry denial, so it's going to waste a lot of their time if they don't clear that out quickly, which they have limited utility to do so with. They've only got the 2 frag grenades in the pocket of Wolf. They don't have, for example, a Twitch or maybe even a Zero, or even a second set of nades, so it's going to be pretty tough to try and achieve that. Greasy is going to be all the way down in Freezer, going to get spotted out by the Jaeger, goes down immediately, and that is a minute gone now. Another opening pick for Flying Fabians. I think, if my memory serves me right, Flying Fabians have had the opening pick so far every single round, and they've won every single round. They do get the trade onto Satsui, but not before they already did the damage and got Emi-Term as well. That's the hard breach gone, so they're now going to have to be pushing vertically into sight rather than trying to go through a breach, which I don't think that they're. I know they could get it. They have two sets of impact TMPs that they could clear it out with. Plus, it's only a mute jammer on the wall, so it's doable. Going for a vertical grenade is Wolf. Doesn't catch anybody, and now we've reached the end game. 1 minute left on the clock. 3v4 for Eternity. They have the diffuser in hand. They have top white control, but can they actually make their way inside of the site? Chi-Chi goes down. That E1D spots out 2 more defenders, giving the upper hand to Eternity. 40 seconds left, and they might actually be able to go for a res on the Chi-Chi, especially now that that smoke canister gets blown out onto top white. They get a kill onto Poker, and now that's a 2v3. They are going to be trying to go for the res onto Chi-Chi, and that's one more down. That's Dids down on top of white stairs. That's the diffuser cold as well. It's Wolf rotating around. Glorious still trying to hold on to top white. 15 seconds left on the clock. Effectively a 2v2. Actually make it a 2v3 as they are going for the res. They get off it again, and there goes the Glorious. Goes down. All down to Wolf. Chi-Chi finally bleeds out, but there's not much that Wolf can do, and Flying Fabians with flying colors so far this half take round 5. They're 1 round away from taking them from putting themselves on match point, and if they put themselves on match point before the half has even turned, well, that spells danger for Eternity. Not only is that bad for them if their first defending round, but it also spells trouble for their mental game going into Chalet. Of course, Flying Fabians are going to be a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident in their play when they get to the other map, whereas Eternity are going to be on the back foot, knowing that not only did they lose the map, but they lost it so convincingly. However, while we've seen comebacks like this, we've seen comebacks like this from Eternity in this league, so don't count them out just yet. And back to kitchen and meeting they go. Eternity lost this pretty quickly. Losing that diffuser inside of Split really hurt them. I don't know if they're going to be going necessarily for the same push again. Greasy and Glorious swapped places. Glorious is taking the Zero instead of Greasy, and Greasy's taking the Iana again. So that's 2 sets of frag grenades for them. They do still have those impact EMPs in the pocket of Wolf with the gridlock. Also a little bit of flank watch with the gridlock. Those track stingers, quite a loud sound cue. They do a little bit of damage, and there goes, I think that might have been a spawn peek onto Greasy. I'm not sure where from. But that was not ideal for Eternity. That was only 30 seconds into the round where they lost their Iana. That's a lot of drone potential, so a lot of information gone. They also lost a set of grenades that they could have used later on. They still have that shield to deal with. They have those banshees to deal with. There's a lot of utility to take care of that they don't have enough utility to take care of it with. A lot of those strike stingers as well getting shot, leaving a perfect path for that flank should they decide to do that. Shigeki still on top floor defending this with their life. Poker taking quite a bit of damage. It's Wolf that gets down from a vertical angle from inside of dorms. They do pick them up, but this is going to be quite difficult now in a 4v5. 90 seconds left on the clock, and a lot of work for them still to do. There goes Emiterm. That's their hard breach gone as well. They do still have those can openers in the pocket of a Glorious, but a Glorious is also engaging currently, taking a lot of damage on this white window, or on this big window, sorry. There goes Wolf, goes down. 2v5 for Eternity. Diffuser is cold on the ground. They don't have any information as to where all of these defenders are. They don't have enough flank watch set up for flank either. There goes a Glorious through green hallway, straight into sight. Gets one, but gets immediately traded out. And there goes Eternity, losing yet another round, putting Flying Fabians on the match point at the turn of the half. That is one of the most convincing wins on a half I've seen in a long time. You know, sometimes even when there is a 6-0 win on the half, or lead on the half, you know, some of the rounds may be close. You know, it might come down to a 1v1, you know, post-plan type situation, but Eternity are just making so many mistakes. Losing those gunfights very early on, losing people very early on, not really getting those trades out, not really being in a position to get the trades, and it is obviously hurting them quite a bit. But they are on defense now, and we already mentioned that Oregon can be quite a defender-sided map, especially that basement site, which is what they're going for. So this might be a turnover for Eternity. I'm also concerned by the fact that they haven't taken a timeout all in that first half. I mean, once you're losing 3-4 rounds, you need to take that timeout. You need to figure out what you're doing wrong. That's the job of the coach or maybe the IGL. Figure out what you're doing wrong and figure out how to fix it. So far, their biggest mistake that I've noticed has been that they are not in the position to get the trades. Okay, you lost a person early on, but get that trade. Don't make it that much of a punishment for your team to lose a player early on. Okay, you lost the Iana, you lost the nades, but don't make it worth it for Flying Fabians to be as aggressive as they've been. And they haven't even been that aggressive. They've just been a little bit aggressive, and that should have been punished from the side of Eternity, but they haven't done that yet. Flying Fabians are slowly making their way inside of the map, covering a lot of ground very quickly to try and gain as much map control as possible. I think Eternity are doing a little bit more of a roam game than Flying Fabians did. They do have Greasy with the Solus inside of Attic currently being contested. They see each other, but it's Chi-Chi that wins that gunfight against Greasy, and that's their only roamer gone. Or at least only one that I've seen. We have a Glorious in a bit of a roam position, but it's not as aggressive as Greasy's was. Greasy wasted some time, but not enough. They still have 2 minutes left. More than enough to take care of everything that they need to get that setup started, especially with the lack of a Cade on the side of Eternity. That hatch is going to be Pickens. Still setting up those drones. This is decent pacing here from Flying Fabians, but they do want to get as much of that setup done as quickly as possible so that they can go for that execute without having to panic. A Glorious in a very important position here could get some kills if they aren't careful, and there goes Chi-Chi. A beautiful kill onto Chi-Chi to finally equalize for Eternity, bring them back to even ground. That Mew Jammer prevented him getting droned out right away. There goes another drone being wasted from the side of Flying Fabians. Through the hatch is Glorious trying to shoot them, trying to push them out of the position on top of the hatch and force them to rotate all the way around. It looks like the execute is going to be coming mostly from the hatch. Term does smoke out the hatch drop, but gets taken out right away, and they push their way inside of sight. 2v4 here for Eternity. Make that a 1v4, and there goes Flying Fabians with a 7-0 win on Oregon. I think Eternity definitely want to rethink what happened. They want to review what happened as quickly as possible. They want to have a conversation with each other, talk about not being there to get those trades, and make sure that the next game goes better, because they need to win Chalet or they are getting eliminated down into the lower bracket. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break. But when we're back with Chalet. Stay tuned.
too far to say that we cannot pretend now. Was it never enough to have just everything you want? In your shadow I found a place to hide me from my own thoughts. And if I ever got lost, you find a way to bring me home. And I want something I can hold, that's worth this waiting cold. And I want something that is real, something to make me feel alive.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Revival League Upper Bracket Quarterfinals. We've got Eternity going up against Flying Fabians. This is Chalet. We just saw them play each other on Oregon. Flying Fabians passed with flying colors, got a 7-0 win, which definitely puts them in the driver's seat now for this game. Should Eternity lose this map as well, it's not over for them. They're just going to get put down into the lower bracket, so we'll probably see them at some point in the future, or they might surprise us and win this map, take it to Theme Park, and then take it away from there. First band's coming out here from Eternity. They immediately got rid of Flores, which Flores was banned on Oregon as well, so we already discussed how strong he could be, especially playing against Azami or any kind of deployable utility. He could be very, very strong at clearing that utility and clearing that utility quickly. There's only two real, well, there's quite a few counters to him. I was going to say there's only two real counters, which are mute and bullets, but there's actually quite a few. Still, he's really strong, even though he's got a lot of counters, just because he's well, tough to counter, even with those counters. Funnily enough, Flying Fabians follow the bans up with a Nook and an Azami ban. Again, the Flores Azami ban kind of go together. If you don't have a Flores, then you do not want to keep the Azami on the board. Because she's already tough to deal with. Without a Flores, she becomes pretty much immovable. And then go Nook and a Solus ban. Both are unsurprising. I think Eternity did struggle a little bit to gain information on Oregon, so that might be trying to remedy that, banning out the Solus. Does nerf Chi-Chi maybe a tiny bit on defense because they were the one that played Solus the most. Plus, it allows them to drone a lot more, which on Chalet you do quite a lot more droning than you do in Oregon. On Oregon, you kind of do it only in that setup phase. You don't really do it much after. Whereas on Chalet, you drone pretty much the entire time. And then Nook, she could just be annoying, can sneak into sight, and then all of your team is dead. So Eternity are starting their defensive half in basement, which is quite peculiar. Typically, you would see that kitchen or bar site being the primary site. Sometimes you would maybe see top floor, although it's becoming a lot less preferable. So to see them going basement, which is entirely not preferable at all by most people, is quite surprising. So that must mean that they have a really strong setup on their hands that they are not afraid to use. The attack is commencing so far from this big garage side, and it's Satsui to go down first. A Glorious in a power position on West Main, somehow staying undroned. That was... Oh my god, and another kill from a Glorious. A huge wipeout there from a Glorious to take out two very early on in the round. Only a minute gone, and there goes another kill from Greasy. Take that, another kill from Emiterm, and it's all down to Shigeki. C4 in hand, does shoot out that C4, but there's two barrels staring at him, and there goes Eternity with a flawless round to start off this Chalet map. You know, I mentioned at the end of the last map that they might be feeling a little bit down, that mentals might be a little bit shot for them. Having lost the first map 7-0, Flying Fabians are definitely going to be a lot more confident, which I think we could see there because they didn't drone themselves in properly. There go Eternity, just absolutely wiping them out. A huge round there from a Glorious. To maybe breathe some life back into Eternity, and remind them, hey, we didn't get all the way to the quarterfinals by being bad. We got here by being good and by being better than our opponents, so we can definitely do this. And here we see them going for this bar gaming site, which tends to be the most preferred site, although I think it's falling a little bit out of favor just because of how predictable and obvious a lot of these setups have become. You know, you've got this shield on top blue, you've got that library hold, you've got that games bar hold, and, a lot of people, a lot of teams are starting to read into that, are starting to figure out ways to counter that. You scrim, you see their setup, and you know how to counter them. So it's starting to fall out of favor, but it's still such a strong setup that it doesn't surprise me that they're still going there and that it's still such a favored site. The attack is going to have to be horizontal attack to set up for the vertical. They're going to have to clear out this library. There's no way they don't, because if they try to avoid it, they are surely to fall quickly afterward. That position inside of library in that southwest corner. That's a glorious as the dock getting pushed out quite quickly. They do get him down, but he's going to be able to pick himself back up, seeing as he's the dock. Really, really well done. That was very quick from them to get those Capital bolts in there, set him on fire, force him out of that position. Typically, that position is very difficult to clear, but they got it quickly. That first kill goes up from Joshi onto Wolf, and that's the opening pick so far in this round. They get the trade, and a trade right back from Satsui. 3v4. This is still doable for Eternity to hold on to this. But what did his inside of office pretty much locked away from all of these angles. It's going to be pretty tough for them to still hold on to this. Pretty much at this point, the Jaeger just has to waste as much time as humanly possible. And there it goes. Joshi with the kill to bring this down to a 2v4 for Eternity. And we turn at the bottom of library stairs, a glorious chancing a kill onto the fireplace side of things. Does get one, and Nade misses onto a glorious, and it's Emiterm who's going to try and push up. A glorious goes down. It's all down to Emiterm inside of mud. There's only really two angles that he can cover, and Plant is going down inside of sight. There goes Poker with the kill from inside of the connector to end the round and put one round on the board for Flying Fabians. That's the first round for Flying Fabians, and it's slowing down the momentum from Eternity. I think what lost them the round there was probably losing a glorious inside of library. Of course, he was still alive after that, but losing that position inside of that corner allowed Flying Fabians to push straight into library. They got 2 kills off the back of that, and they weren't able to recover from that. So that is pretty much the most important position for you to hold as a defender, and if it gets cleared out as quickly as it got, well, there's not much you can do. The annoying part about it as well is the fact that Capital bolts can only be countered by Wamai. Of course, Jaeger's ADSs do not pick them up, only Wamai's magnets do. So if those Wamai magnets get cleared out quickly, which they did because they brought enough utility clear to get rid of them, pretty much meant the end of that position. Glorious this time going for Goyo instead of Doc to try and slow the push down a little bit by forcing that fire onto the windows. The attack is coming from this library side again. And ignoring the fire completely comes in Satsui with the kill onto Glorious. That is a very early pick and a very aggressive way of playing that. Greasy on a sliver of HP now as that Goyo canister gets blown up right next to him. Wolf having to fall back as well. That is not even a minute gone, and they already have this top floor control completely in their hands. Greasy's still trying to hold on to top of the library stairs, but it's going to be quite difficult. The rest of the team has made their way back to site, but with that top floor control, this is going to be quite difficult for Eternity here. A lot of these drones are coming out from Flying Fabians, gathering all of that intel. Greasy Master has rotated all the way around and has died that office valve window. Unfortunate there for Greasy, but he was on very low HP, so he was bound to get picked up eventually. There goes Dides as well, taking quite a lot of damage. Tries to engage, but can't. And it's all down to Anyterm and Wolf. A minute left on the clock, and this attack slowly but surely falling on top of them, just collapsing onto their positions. Anyterm trying to smoke out at least one of these pushes. There goes a Finka boost. And there goes a kill from Wolf, immediately traded out. And there goes Anyterm as well. Flying Fabians put another round on the board for themselves, and they take round 3, putting themselves in the lead for the first time this. I hate to think it, but that basement defense could have, that basement win could have been just a fluke for Eternity, especially because Flying Fabians were quite aggressive in that round. They were seemingly just rushing Headless without a thought. They didn't really drone themselves in all that well. They probably recuperated after that. I was like, okay, we tried it. It didn't work. Let's just go back to basics. And they've gone back to basics, but they're still keeping that aggression going. We saw Satsui just book it straight inside of that window to get the kill onto Glorious with, what, 30 seconds gone maybe? Not even. So that aggression is still there from Flying Fabians, and it's clearly working because Eternity are not ready for that amount of aggression. They are going for a kitchen defense this time. First time we see them bring out this site. It's another site that you have to hold vertically. You can't really hold it down below because there's a lot of destructible ceiling on this site. So a lot of positions are immediately eliminated should your opponents have top floor control. The attack seems to be coming from the library side, but it's also coming from the windows. We do see that there's somebody on rappel on the bedroom window. I think they might have just gone to the roof. Eternity have brought the castle to try and force some of that utility wasting from Flying Fabians, but they have more than enough to deal with it. They have the sledge, they have the Ash, they have the Zofia. They should be able to clear these out pretty quickly. And here we see Chi-Chi calling out for Poker to get rid of those castle barricades. They smoked out this part of the breach that was open, and now they are going to be breaching this wall, which is forcing Eternity into standstill. They can't really be as aggressive as they were just a little bit ago with that wall still closed. They have to just pull back, hold angles, and hope for the best. They have some of these attackers on cams, but there goes Didas in a very, in an engagement, I'm not sure where, but taking quite a lot of damage, and again, on a sliver of HP, they do drone out that shield, and an EMP goes down on the window to clear out that one. My magnet, there goes a kill from Greasy onto Poker. That's their sledge gone, and suddenly those grenades are gone, as is that hammer, making sure that some of this utility stays exactly where it is. There goes another kill. Wolf picks up another. They do finally clear out Greasy, and they do take care of Didas as well, but it's 45 seconds left on the clock now for Flying Fabians. And although they have that top floor control, Chi-Chi is on the tiniest sliver of HP, and they have no vertical pressure to use against Flying Fabians. They also can't really take care of that castle barricade inside of office either. Because they can. They still have one lifeline impact from Zofia, but those smoke canisters are going to be holding them off for a little bit longer. And through the window, that's a Glorious with the kill. There goes another one. It's all down to Satsui. Diffuser in hand. What? And it's Flying Fabians to win that. an insane flick from Satsui. Oh my lord. I was seconds away from calling out, there goes another round from Eternity, but it's Satsui to win it for Flying Fabians. Absolute scenes right now. Wow.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Crazy round there from Flying Fabians. I'm quite frankly speechless. There go Eternity back downstairs. I think that was probably their best shot at defending a secondary bomb site or a tertiary bomb site. And I hope that that basement defense on the first round wasn't a fluke. And that they are able to win it again. Otherwise, this puts Flying Fabians at a significant advantage, being up
5 seconds to go.
4-1, potentially even 5-1 on the half.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse
And then all they have to do is defend, which on Chile is a lot of the time not that difficult.
Placing proximity alarm.
They do have quite a bit of roam presence, but not too much, as they want to make sure that they have people holding on site.
by attackers.
Actually, that's a lot more roam presence than I thought there would be. A Glorious holding on inside of a West Main, getting pushed out a little bit by those track stingers, but not enough just yet. Those vertical angles could be working against them as well, as they are starting to push from basement. I think that's Wolf that has just joined a Glorious in this roam. On top of West Main stairs. There goes a kill onto Satsui from Greasy, who rushed straight into sight. That wall open now. This could be huge. Of course, it's all to play for here for Greasy. The Warden has to make sure that that plant doesn't go down in the smoke or behind the smoke. A refract finally comes out from Flying Fabians onto it is. There goes the Valk, and there goes another one from Greasy. Wolf picks up another, and it's 2v5. Make that 1v5 for Joshi. Diffuser is cold on the ground. You know there's one inside of dining. Is that enough for them to win this? Term on a sliver of HP could drop back down into sight whenever they want through that open hatch. Could get away scot-free. Make this even harder for Josh. Josh knows that there's somebody in there. Can't really push. Sees them. There he goes. Kill onto Term from Josh. 1v3. 45 seconds left on the clock. Not a whole lot of information left for Flying Fabians. Gets the swing, gets the down, gets the kill. Still has to go for that diffuser, and it's going to be pretty difficult to try and cross over to get it. Knows there's one inside a connector. Knows there's one blue behind that shield. Smokes out the shield to try and maybe bait out a push, or to try and cover that. And there goes one kill! Shotgun in hand now. Getting pinged by that alibi, and there goes Eternity to win another round. Finally, they bring it back and show that they can indeed hold that basement. Although, I will say, I got a little bit worried halfway through. So, I'm glad that they managed to bring it back and that they managed to win this. Going back to bar gaming now. Last time they got countered by pure, unadulterated aggression from the side of Flying Fabians. Hopefully they're able to counter that a little bit better this time. And are able to hold on and make sure that Flying Fabians do not take the lead in this half. But, you know, the impressive thing already for Eternity is that they've won rounds. The same cannot be said for the previous game. And it looks like they are going to be covering
EDD mounted. Let them come.
that aggression from Flying Fabians by bringing that frost, by bringing that Capcan.
Reload.
They could be very, very dangerous, especially without a Brava in the hands of Flying Fabians. Of course, Brava, the new operator that had come with Operation Commanding Force, can hack any electronic defender gadget and use them against defenders. So things like Jaeger ADSs to steal C4s. Well, not steal C4s, but to make sure that that C4 gets caught just like a grenade would, or a Capcan trap so that a defender walks through it and dies. A lot of drone utility being wasted inside of library right now from the side of Flying Fabians. The C4 goes out, doesn't net anything. There go those Capital bolts. Glorious takes a lesson from his own book from before and decides to drop down before they have a chance to kill him from that cross angle. Shugeki gets absolutely deleted on that window. A good kill there from Greasy. I think that would have been Greasy. Wolf gets down as well, and there goes even more aggression coming out from Greasy to take out Shugeki, I believe that was. Does get traded out. There goes Shishi with a 2K so far this round. 90 seconds left on the clock. They still have that sledge, and they have man advantage again. It's all down to a glorious semi-term now on a sliver of HP in an engagement. And I think through the vertical angles, maybe through the hatch, perhaps. A glorious pulled all the way back onto library stairs. This could be a power position, or it could be the perfect cutoff that Flying Fabians need. Of course, it could also trigger a really good flank should they go for a push onto side end for a plant potentially. Glorious so far undroned as far as I'm aware. Still setting up this top floor presence. And they see the sliver of Emi-term that's needed to get the kill. A Glorious now in a 1v3. The Fuser's still on the ground outside of gaming window. Plant going down now. And that's another example of the line scan being used. Not necessarily to spot out, but to force them to stay in the position that they were in. Plant does go down. A Glorious pushes it aside, but there's not much they can do as Flying Fabians take another round and put themselves in the lead so far this half. It's a 4-2 split as we see the side switch. Eternity are now forced to attack from the back foot, and still again no timeout from them being called. I think when you're losing a 2-4, that's definitely something that you need to be thinking about. Of course, the timeout should have been called way before it had ever gone to that split. And I hope that they're going to call it at some point in this half, should they lose another round or, God forbid, more. But Flying Fabians are setting up for that bar gaming defense, holding it in similar fashion to Eternity.
10 seconds remaining.
I was gonna say, but those hatches are still closed. They've opened them now, so it's pretty much the same standard hold that you do here for bar gaming. Holding onto the library, holding onto top of library stairs, and making sure that the defenders have, the attackers have as difficult of a time as possible. However, it looks like Eternity is going to be completely ignoring that library presence. Are going to be going for a horizontal push, which might not work as they lose a Glorious very early on. That's a kill from Satsui with SMG-11 through the window, through the wall. They do get the trade, or they do get the refrag onto Poker. However, that might be a bit of a meaningless frag at this time, considering it's not a position player. At this time, a lot of this attack commencing from below. Chichi is aware of potential push from these basement stairs. And there goes Diddy's indeed. Yep. That was Satsui from that vertical angle. I was going to mention that, but then Diddy's, of course, died on those stairs. I think that was a bit of a misplay there from Diddy's to try and push up those stairs. That's a pretty standard angle to be holding. And there goes a grenade wasted from Greasy onto that Jaeger ADS. Minute 20 left on the clock, and they have very limited utility to try and clear out that shield. They do flash it out. They do take care of any potential ADSs, and that grenade goes out, does take the shield, but the player who was holding the shield had already pulled away, as did the rest of the team. Everyone in sight now, or around sight. Joshi in a really power position inside of Mudroom, holding any... Those are vertical angles that Greasy is getting shot through, which is also a bit of danger there for them. They do still have the sledge, so they could be doing a little bit more vertical damage. The hatch getting opened now with the Hibana pellets, but time is running out, and they still aren't even sure if there's anybody playing inside a kitchen. They do get the kill. They get 2.
15 seconds
They
left.
swing the numbers back into their favor, but this is going to be quite difficult for them to do. They do get Tatsui. It's all down to Shigeki. Shigeki inside of closet. They go push him out as the plant is going down, and it's Eternity with another round. They win their first attacking round and put themselves back on the board. They're still on the back foot. They're still chasing after flying Fabians, but this is a lot better of a position for them to be in than had they just had they lost. Then they would be 2 rounds away rather than just 1. And they want to keep up this momentum for as long as they can.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
They are going to be going for that same defense again,
Located
Bar
by
Gaming.
attackers.
Interestingly, despite it being somewhat of a favorite site, so far it has been lost by defense every single time. I spoke in the beginning of the map that this is sort of the most preferred site by most teams, although it's falling a little bit out of favor just because of how easy it tends to be to clear it out, all that, and it has been won by the attack every single round that it's been played, which is a really interesting statistic. I think that's what happens to most sites once they get a little bit overplayed. Setups become predictable. There's not much versatility that you can do or that you can achieve with a site once you've run like 3 or 4 different setups. Then you need to kind of rotate away for the meta to change. And the attack is coming from this horizontal push again, horizontally onto the vertical. They're not pushing for that library just yet. They are just trying to clear out from the north side, south, clearing out the bathroom, clearing out the office, clearing out everything, and then they're going to be pushing down into the library, just like they did last time. of course, this is just as viable of a push as just going straight in. It's a bit more time consuming. However, it's a lot more risk free because, there's a lot less utility that you need to put down or use, really. And there's a lot fewer gunfights that you need to be in until that mid-round phase. Quite a lot of explosions going on around everywhere. I think that was Setsui that pulled back, and into sight, as did Poker from those library stairs. That's a 3-man chase going through. Oh no, it's a 2-man chase. It's a 2-man chase. That's Joshi in the basement, but that almost looked like a 3-man chase through kitchen, but now it's only one as Chi-Chi makes their way back into sight to help Setsui hold on. Now, if they pull off a flank, which Joshi might be able to do, that drone gets shot out and a C4 gets Wolf. They do hear that drone get shot out. They know that somebody's flanking them. Diddy's is on the case. Does get the flank. That's a huge kill. With 35 seconds left on the clock now for this execute, with diffuser in hand and with man advantage, this is doable for Eternity. They still have Poker inside of Mudroom. They get quite a lot of damage taken from this Mudroom window, and that forces them to a bit more of a passive position rather than being aggressive, holding on to that push. And there go kills flying everywhere. Setsui holding on inside of the closet, and it's the smoke that gets the final kill. Wow. Another round for Flying Fabians. They're a step away from match point yet again, as they put themselves at 5-3 up. I really thought that was Eternity's round. Once they got Joshi on the flank, I thought that this has to be their round, but they just fell apart. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough cover for closet or for that supply angle from Setsui on the mute and SMG-11. That diffuser went down, the smoke went in, and there was nothing they could do. But here's to another round as Flying Fabians go upstairs. This is the first time that we're seeing this site. Eternity didn't play it at all. So I'm interested to see how they defend this. I'm even more interested to see how Eternity attack this. Eternity is looking to be quite a straightforward setup. Without the castle, however. Castle is a really, really common operator on this site to block off some of those windows, to block off some of the sight lines to create by being on those windows. But they're opting to not go for that, going for the Goyo smoke setup instead, which is there to deny entry and deny plant. And of course, the big one, deny as much time as humanly possible. We're still bringing the Valkyrie for that intel, and it's a glorious on the Dokubi to try and counter out that Valkyrie. There goes an early pick from a glorious from this upside down angle on the window to take care of Chi-Chi. That's the magnets from the Wamai gone as well. That's a lot of utility for them to lose, and that's their player that was holding onto library gone as well, unless somebody rotates around, which I don't even know if anybody's in the position to be able to do that safely before Eternity set up these angles. And an early engagement there from Greasy gets shot from an unsuspecting angle as that breach is now getting opened. A refract coming into Glorious from Poker Life. I'm not sure if Poker had hacked the cameras before they died to make sure they have even more information. Doesn't look like they did, which is quite a shame, because they might have some intel to gain from those Valkyrie cameras, unfortunately. Not even just Valkyrie cameras, default cameras just as well. And there goes another kill onto Wolf The man advantage is back in favor of Fabians, and that Gone 6 gets swallowed by the ADS as all 3 of those flash grenades are gone as well. Greasy Master goes down. Emiterm now in sight, getting burnt by this Goyo and getting smoked out by the smoke. Diddy's on piano double door, trying to do something, anything. They make their way inside a piano, and it's all down to Diddy's. Flying Fabians take another round and put themselves on match point. The first time that we saw this site, and it really looked like it was going to be Eternity's site, Eternity's round for a little while there, but Flying Fabians took it back again.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And we're seeing the kitchen side again. We saw Eternity bring it once. And that was, well, it looked like it was going to be their round for pretty much the entire time. And then it was Satsui with an absolutely crazy clutch, and essentially a 180 flick to get the final 2 kills and to win that round for Flying Fabians. I'm still in awe at Satsui and at Flying Fabians being able to achieve that for that round. Hopefully it goes better for Eternity when they're attacking this site than it did when they were defending this site. Of course, that top 4 control is crucial for defending kitchen. You have to have that top 4 control for as long as possible. We already discussed that site is very vulnerable to a buck and a sledge. So if you lose that top 4 control, that could spell trouble. I think that might be a Glorious inside of the gazebo outside, which is not a terrible position to play, but it's not a very wise one. You could get some crazy kills from there, but should your team start dying, and I think we have a bit of a glitch here going on. Can't see anything. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's just a select few players. A trade comes out from Joshi and Diddy's. They trade each other. But that's 2 really important players gone from both sides. That's their sledge gone from Eternity, and that's the Wumai gone from Flying Fabians. Of course, those magnets take pretty much the entire round to load up fully. And with that breach being opened up as well, there's a lot less that they can do to stop, smokes coming in or flashes coming in. Hell, even grenades. That grenade could destroy the shield that Shugeki's trying to play behind, and could take out that position, forcing a plant. Wolf inside of a power position, inside of office stale. Greasy from the stairs, getting a 2K. Satsui in this position, trying to clear out Wolf. It's finally Shugeki that joins them to clear that out, but the plant might be going down. That proxy alarm does spot out Emiterm, however the plant is going down. A Glorious in an engagement against Satsui. DMR versus M4 Storm. Who is going to win it? And it is Eternity to win it. A Glorious switches to the SMG-12 to pick up that final kill. I think that was Greasy Master on the other side to get the other kill. And Eternity are not going down without a fight. It is still match point for Flying Fabians, but Eternity are a bit closer to trying to take this home and to keep this alive, to see Theme Park tonight. So I guess Kitchen is facing the the same
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
fate as bar gaming, where it is the
Bomb located by attackers.
attack that wins the round rather than the defense. But I guess what, two's a coincidence, three is a pattern. One's an accident, two's a coincidence, three's a pattern. I believe that's the quote for
5
that.
seconds remaining.
So I guess
Attackers are
also,
moving to defuse
third
the
time's
bomb.
the charm. Both of those work, so maybe it'll work this time better for Flying Fabians. Of course, if they went that site. I meant, but yeah, they're going down to basement. This is the first time that we're seeing basement from them. We saw Eternity play basement. They won it twice. It came down to quite a standoff, I think, in the second attempt at defending it.
Drone activated.
It was Wolf, I believe, against Satsui inside of Blue to lose that round, or to win that round.
Loading new mag.
That somehow doesn't sound right, but I'll say that that's what happened.
Activating code.
Anyhow, this attack is coming from the very top floor, clearing out any potential roamers that may have been, and they have been, but they had pulled back by now. However, Shigeki is still inside of kitchen with a pretty powerful position to be holding, and I do believe that that's Chi-Chi on top of Solarium stairs as well to try and aid in that roam. Shigeki does get a kill onto Glorious. This the Dokebi gone. And of course, no defender had died, so that utility is gone. I believe that they still had one call left in pocket as well. They're going to be trying to go for a bit of a rotate around to try and clear out that smoke inside of kitchen. Of course, Chi-Chi is there as well, so that's not going to be as easy as they might think. They do get this main wall open. It's not a very common breach anymore. It used to be about a year, 2 years ago, but not anymore. So it looks like they're wasting all three ace charges on that wall, and they could be trying to set up for a plant as well. There goes Shigeki. That is a huge kill from Diddy's. Shigeki, of course, falling back into sight through that open hatch. And I do believe that that's all defenders now back on site. Amiterm is in sight with Diffuser. Greasy is making their way down Blue stairs. Taking a little bit of damage through that drone hole is Chi-Chi.
The attackers bomb.
But it's quick trades coming out from Flying Fabians. It's all down to Wolf. And it's Flying Fabians to win another match. That's the matchup one for them as well. They advance through the upper bracket further. Meanwhile, Eternity are going to be facing off in lower bracket. Of course, they could face each other again. I do believe that they could face each other again. If Flying Fabians lose the next game, then they could be playing against each other again in the lower bracket. But that is all for another time. I think that this wraps up tonight's games. We'll be back on tomorrow. So don't miss that. Be sure to tune in. And thank you all for watching. Have a good night.